Okay, this is going to be one, because I'm still alive. And of course, the Constitution was supposed to be the Supreme Court of the land, supreme law of the land. And let's see how many violations that the president and the government does on us perpetually throughout the years. Or just, 10 years. 10 years. All right, ready? Here we go.
Quiet on the set, and action. The year is 1790. Rhode Island has finally ratified the Constitution, meaning that all 13 states had approved the new plan for government in the United States. The journey to get to this moment in history wasn't easy, but the document successfully established a framework for governing the country through the use of several basic principles. Popular sovereignty. The word sovereignty
Okay, get ready to laugh.
Means power, and popular is in reference to the people. Popular sovereignty, then, means power comes from the people. The best place to see this evident in the U.S. Constitution
And how much bullshit is that?
is in the first line of the document. It starts with, "We the people of the United States." It is the people who are creating the government and giving it power, not a deity or a single monarch.
How true is that? How stupid is that to us, for us Americans to believe?
An example of people giving the government power today is through voting. The United States is a democracy. In a democracy, people elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf in government. This brings us to the next principle, republicanism.
Of course, and up until you actually buy and sell your electoral votes. They don't mention that part.
In a republic, people elect representatives to make decisions in government. The United States can be called a representative democracy or a republic. This idea was important to the American colonists because they wanted the people to have the power to choose their own government officials and remove them or choose new leaders in future elections if they weren't following the will of the people. It should be noted that while we've talked about the people giving the U.S. government power through elections, in 1788, the people were a small group relative to all persons who lived in the U.S. at the time. Specifically, only white landowning men held the power to choose representatives and vote in elections. The country had a long way to go to truly uphold the concept of "we the people" at the time. Limited government. Another important principle is the idea that the power of government officials is limited. They can't do whatever.
Of course, not the President of the United States, that the Supreme Court says is immune from the law. And of course, he's a sitting president, or she's a sitting president, and they too are immune from the law.
They want whenever they want to do it. They have to follow the laws of the country just like everyone else. The Constitution makes sure that no one
Pause for chuckle.
is above the law. One way is by ensuring that fair elections are held to allow new officials to represent the people. Another way.
But they commit all the felonies they want. We pay their salary, and of course, we pay for their lawyer when we don't get one.
Is through the separation of powers. Power of government in the United States is divided between three branches: the legislative branch, which makes the laws, the executive branch, which carries out the laws, and the judicial branch, which interprets the laws. Each branch of government has specific responsibilities and the ability to check the powers of the other branches. This
system is called a democracy, a republicanism, but for Trump, it's called dictatorship.
System of checks and balances, another principle of the Constitution, ensures that one branch can't become too powerful. For example, Congress has the power to make laws, but the president can approve or veto them. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has the power to declare those laws unconstitutional if they violate the U.S. Constitution.
And of course, identity theft, fraud, conveying company assets, child rape, grooming women into prostitution. These are all felonies until the President of the United States does it. Then it's immune from the law. And he's a dictator, and he's above the law. How does that work? Pause for chuckle.
Federalism. Power is not just shared between the branches of government, but also between the national government and the states. This is the principle of federalism.
Okay, this one's for you, Camilla and Galvin, because you are governor and attorney general, or were, for California, but thank you very much.
Certain powers belong just to the national government. These are called enumerated powers. Only the national government has the power to declare war, regulate trade between the states, print money, maintain the armed forces, and establish courts and more. Powers that are reserved just for the states are aptly called reserved powers. These can include establishing schools, making rules for elections within the states, creating local governments, and basically anything else not delegated to the national government. Final.
Including falsified electoral votes. Come on.
The national government and state governments share some powers. These concurrent powers include the power to establish courts, lay and collect taxes, borrow money, and pass laws, just to name a few. Government at all levels also has the responsibility to protect individual rights. Individual rights.
Okay, this is a big one, so you might want to be sitting down when you hear this, because this is hilarious. 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 Doesn't exist. Hilarious.
Rights are freedoms that people have that must be protected by the government according to the Constitution. The Bill of Rights lists many of these freedoms, and examples include the right to freedom of speech, trial by jury, right to a speedy trial, freedom of religion, the right to assemble, the right to bear arms, protection from unreasonable search and seizure, and much more. That's a wrap. These principles guide government decision-making and are embedded into the framework of the U.S. Constitution. The next time you read the news and see an article about government, consider which principles are evident, and you'll understand how they impact the lives of people every day. Hey everyone, thanks for watching.
And of course, felonies against the individual with identity theft, literally fingerprints on a bank account, opening bank accounts in the other person's name, and tax fraud, filing taxes in your name illegally. Not above the law. No, all immune.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the like button to share some love. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, keep pursuing history.
So what do you think of a woman that has no mouth? Because she has no voice? Because she has no purpose? Because she lives in a fantasy world where America is equal and, the government cares so much for its own people. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm alive still. Constitution is supposed to be a supreme, above the law thing, the Supreme Court, supreme law of the land, and yet nobody does it. Wow, how is that? There's some other ones that you might want to do, check out. Just get yourself constitutionally ready that we live in a dictatorship, and it's pretty freaking obvious. Sitting president can't sue. After his presidency, can't sue. And of course, you are fighting immunity from the law and dictatorship. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that a great life for America? Yeah, that's just gorgeous. All right, guys, take care. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great one. Do a Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill. Hey, I don't get paid for being a frickin' singer. vocalist. All right,
Hey,
darlings,
everybody, Lavin.
take care of yourselves. Read some of these. Read a book in a library, might tell you more, because not everything on the internet's true. There is no we the people. There is no people. It's just dictatorship. Donnie, Hunter Biden, because, you know, he has to be covered up for all his crimes, and Mikey, and, you know, all the rest of them. There's, you know, MTG. There's so many, and you know it. That's the sad part. You know it. And they don't fight against it. It's immunity from the law. How disgusting is that when someone could steal your identity and say you're immune from the law? The President of the United States. No felonies are above him, right? Take care.